What's going on, beautiful people? Good evening, good evening, good evening. We are tonight's entertainment. Where is Tom Brady? That I don't know if anybody ever, those of you who have seen The Dark Knight will understand that reference. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Where are tonight's entertainment? Where is Tom Brady? Will the real Tom Brady please stand up? Will the real Aaron Rodgers please stand up? Something is happening to these two greats that I don't think we've ever seen. We've seen struggles from Rodgers and his teams before. We've seen struggles from Brady and his teams before. But we haven't seen this type of energy from either of their squads. And so it just makes me wonder one thing. How deep does the secret society go? Because what have they done and who have they upset for them to be this miserable through the first 7 weeks of the season? 7 weeks. Next week is going to make half the season damn near. And there is no sign of progress from their football teams. As a matter of fact, there is only regression. Have they been bad? Not really. But they haven't been them. They haven't been the great players that we know them to be. And it has been absolutely frustrating, Sunday after Sunday, to watch both of these greats, because they are like the last of that generation. You know, the Brady, the Mannings, the Brees, the Rodgers, the Bens. They are the last standing of that generation.
The early 2000s.
You know? Right. And so what exactly is happening to them? We know that they can evolve their game, and we know that they can still be the two very best at their craft. So what exactly is happening? We got some theories, we got some lab analysis, and hopefully we can form a hypothesis that can lead us to a positive conclusion to both these teams moving forward, because there's really a lot of good football being played. Is there a lot of bad football being played? Absolutely. There is a ton of bad football being played. But there's a lot of good football being played, from the Bengals to the Seahawks, yes, the Seahawks, to the Chiefs, to the Niners, to the Bills. You know, we saw the Ravens do some good stuff yesterday in terms of just simplifying the game and doing what they got to do. The Cowboys, their defense has been playing lights out. I don't talk about the offense, but that defense there's good football being played, and you want to see it from the greats, but we just haven't been seeing it consistently enough. So I got a couple theories, Vic, about why these two have not been playing as well as they have been playing. But we'll let you take it off. Say hello to the people, and give me your thoughts on it doesn't have to be on these two in particular. Just give me your what comes to your mind when somebody asks you how was Week 7 in the NFL.
First and foremost, what's going on, everybody? We got about 4 on the lineup right now. Shout out to April, the first to comment. Hope everything is all as well. The Vegas Raiders got a win yesterday.
And that's the only reason she is first in the comments, is because this is the first time that her slaw-ass team won a game. Well, the second time. But either way, April, okay, we always appreciate seeing you in the comment section. Don't get it twisted. Absolutely. But why is it only when the Raiders win are you the first? Not only did the Raiders win, Brady lost. So she's like extra.
She was all over it yesterday. She had that little GIF that she threw on the views, which was funny.
I didn't see that.
But yeah, man, like I think it's the turn of the tide. There's some changes going on in the NFL. Some young teams showing up. The Jets, the Giants are looking fantastic, and thank God for those New York teams, because my goodness, the way the Yankees and the Mets performed this year after some long promising 162 games, New York fans will be jumping off those skyscrapers that run through Manhattan Island if it wasn't for these football teams right now. So shout out to those guys. It's been fun to watch. Unfortunately, man, I think some things that stand out for me, or some frustrating or some hurtful or whatever you want to call it, for week 7 was the Jets losing both, not only Breece Hall, but they also are losing Elijah Vera Tucker, the outstanding left guard, to this out for the season as well.
Yep.
Torn triceps muscle. So, that sucks. That sucks for them because you're talking about a fantastic running back on his way to a rookie, rookie of the year type of campaign, possibly even a Pro Bowl appearance, and a left guard that was absolutely doing a great job taking guys to the second level and blocking for him and opening some holes, along with the other 4 guys on the offensive line. So, yeah, that's tough losses for the Jets. But other than that, they got a win against the hapless Denver Broncos, the frustrating, disappointing Denver Broncos, whose defense is outstanding, but there's only so much they can do to protect that horrifying offense right now. The Panthers, man. The Panthers beating the Buccaneers the way they did. It was definitely an odd football game. Like Mo said, we'll talk about Tom Brady a little bit. We'll talk about Aaron Rodgers. But the Panthers, man, that defense is fantastic. We kind of talked about it off the air, where they have a lot of young pieces on that defense, in which teams have called and inquired for. And they know that they did it just to do it, just to place a phone call, because, yeah, you can trade a Christian McCaffrey. You can trade a running back. That's easy. But you're not going to trade a Brian Burns. You're not going to trade a Derek Brown, those outstanding defensive linemen that they have, setting the edge for them and taking care of the run. That defense, those defensive young stars are not going absolutely anywhere for the Panthers. I'd be shocked if they do trade any of them until the trade deadline. So yeah, man, like I said, a lot of young teams in the NFL. The Seahawks also looking fantastic. So it's been an interesting 7 weeks. I'm just saying like that. It's been an interesting 7 weeks.
Yeah, to say the least. So let's just do a quick recap of everything that happened yesterday, Vic, and then we'll talk about some things. The Ravens beat the Browns 23-20. Bengals stomped on the Falcons 35-17. As we talked about, the Buccaneers lost to the Panthers. The Buccaneers lost to the Panthers that was, like Vic said, is trying to get rid of everybody on offense. They lost 21-3. Lions, Cowboys, that game was a little too competitive for me, I thought. But in the end, the Cowboys pulled away 24-6. Giants, Jaguars, hey, we talked about this. This was logistically, this was going to be a tough matchup for the Giants, especially on the road. But they pulled it out. They pulled it out with some good coaching, some tough football, and just everybody doing their job well. So shout out to the New York Giants, man. They won that game 23-17. Colts versus Titans. Titans won that game 19-10. Matt Ryan hurt his shoulder in the game. And today, Frank Reich announced that they will be moving forward with Sam Bellinger. Ellinger. Sorry, my fault. I don't know why I said Bellinger. Sam Ellinger as their quarterback moving forward. And according to Frank Reich, number one, this is a long-term decision. Number two, apparently this decision was coming whether Matt Ryan hurt his shoulder or not. I don't quite understand what the purpose of it is. I don't really understand what the Colts are doing on quarterback. They can't decide whether they want to have a bridge quarterback and try to go all out, or whether they want to build a strong, solid team and get a young quarterback in there. They can't decide. They're doing a little bit of both. And there's a great quote that says more is lost by indecision than wrong decision. Not necessarily meaning you got to make him.
Shout out to the New York Yankees for that.
not necessarily means you make impulsive decisions. It just means that you make timely decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Colts, they are losing more by not making up their mind in which direction they want to go. And it just, it's been happening ever since Andrew Luck. I understand losing Andrew Luck, the way they lost him was, franchise traumatizing. That's a hard thing for them to have to lose him when they were probably expecting him till 2030 to be their starting quarterback. All of a sudden it's 2018, and you're like, what? So I get it, but it's also been 5 years. You know what I mean? How many teams have we seen rebuild programs and franchises and whatnot through 5 years? 5 years is a long time in professional sports. It doesn't matter what happened 5 years ago. It's where the Patriots. Nobody cares. Nobody's going to be sympathetic for them that Tom Brady's gone. It's been 5 years. Bill Belichick, greatest coach in the world. You better have something coming to fruition, by now. And maybe he is. But to the Colts, I don't know what direction they're going.
I didn't even know that Matt got hurt. So when I heard the news, I was just like, wow, like, are they giving up already? Like that, like Ronnie just said it as well. Indecisive will get you beat. And there's been a lot of indecisiveness in sports recently. That's another subject for another show. Shout out to the baseball crew. We'll get to that before the World Series starting on Friday. Shout out to the Dish guys. So, yeah, man, like I don't know. I thought that they were little by little getting in rhythm, getting some balance. So, I mean, we'll see. Shout out to Dennis who has joined us. He said, was Carson Wentz really that bad for them? This is something that we discussed, off the air as well. Carson was good enough. I think Carson was still, when he was there, still a top 15 quarterback in that league, in this league. You know what I mean? That's the top half of the league. Did he have some errors in tough situations? Again, situational football is very important. Situational sports is important, period. So was he having a tough time in that situation? Yeah, maybe. But he's better than the guys that they bringing in right now. Matt Ryan and whoever this Sam kid is. So I don't know, man. A lot of teams need to reevaluate themselves, reevaluate the leadership, reevaluate who's making decisions, because it's nasty. This is professional.
Right.
You got to be professional.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Carson Wentz is probably the best quarterback they've had since Andrew Luck. You know what I mean? That's just, and they could have built with Carson Wentz. They could have kept Carson Wentz for 5, 6, up to 7 years and seen what came out of it. That to me, and I'm not being biased in this, so y'all can kiss my where the sun don't shine, but Carson Wentz was the perfect piece for the Indianapolis Colts to transition from the Andrew Luck era. It certainly wasn't Phillip Rivers, and we all knew it wasn't going to be Matt Ryan. So I don't understand. There was no logical sense to moving on from Carson Wentz. There was money, financials, injuries, roster structure, fit, system. Like nothing made sense. He was with a coach who understood him, a coach who he had success with in the NFL, on his way to MVP before he got hurt. And for some reason, they pulled the plug on that. And I think they're going to continue to pay for it. They might turn into what the Chargers turn into. Well, not quite the Chargers. But they're going to be on a QB carousel now. And I don't see an end in sight anytime soon. So, I
know you. You're going down the games right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Packers versus Commanders. The Commanders. The Taylor Heineken led. Yeah, I said Heineken. The Taylor Heineken led Commanders beat Aaron Rodgers 23-21. And on lateral plays where the lineman touched it, where receivers touched it, where the running back touched it, the only person to have an illegal forward pass was the damn quarterback. How does that happen? Vic, anything you want to say on that game?
No, I mean,
Yeah, we'll talk about that game. We'll talk about those two, yeah. Jets versus Broncos. The Jets, man, listen, a couple of years ago, I don't care who was a quarterback, a couple of years ago, the Jets would have lost this game. The Jets we know would have lost this game. They toughed it out. They thugged it out. The Jets are 5-2. The Jets are 5-2. And it's not like a fluky 5-2. It's like, yo, we're here. We play defense. We punch you in the mouth, and we're gonna run the ball. Now, like Vic said, unfortunately, they just lost Breece Hall, so we'll see how they adjust from there moving forward. But shout out to the Jets. Shout out to everything in New York right now.
Yeah, the secondary for the Jets, man, has been ridiculous. Starting with their first round pick, Sauce Gardner. I mean, I think he had 3 pass breakups on just like 4 throws to his location. So the kid is ridiculous, man. And like I said, they lost Breece Hall, they lost Elijah Vera Tucker, but Garrett Wilson, the receiver, and Sauce Gardner has been great pickups, first round pickups for them. Zach Wilson, still kind of progressing, still kind of on a slow trajectory. But hopefully, if that kid becomes who I think that what he can become, this is going to be a fun football team for a while too.
Yeah, rumor is instead of going over for his mom's book club, the mom's book club has now turned into a film session for him. So maybe that's why he's trying to do so. Yeah, I just made that up per source. Texans versus Raiders. Raiders won 38-20. Okay, call me when to do something impressive. Call me when to do something worthy. Because ain't nothing impressive about beating the Texans, April. I don't mean to bust your bubble, but I don't know what you want me to do with this. 38-20 against Davis Mills. Okay. Seahawks versus Chargers. See, 37-23. Yo, speaking of impressive, if the Seahawks get to the playoffs, I don't know who's going to be coach of the year, but it's either Pete Carroll or Coach Brian Dable, and they might, or maybe even Robert Saleh. Like, I know everybody thinks Brian Dable's going away with it, and I was kind of thinking about this yesterday after I said it. It's not so much a clear cut. As great of a job as he's doing, that he's going to be the coach of the year, because Pete Carroll is doing as phenomenal, as impressive, as remarkable of a job with Geno Smith and the crew that he's got. Again, I'm going to keep saying it. This is the best football the Seahawks have played since 2016, and that's saying something.
Yeah, I mean, just the Chargers. I mean, you touched up on the Seahawks. Again, they deserve every credit that they get. The Chargers, we talked about it in the game, before the week started. What is this team's identity, man? Who are they? Are they going to run the ball one day? Are they going to pass the ball one day? You got an outstanding running back stable. Why don't you use him more often? Kind of keep the pressure off your young quarterback. Is he throwing the ball too much? Where's the balance? Where's the identity? You had a 3-game win streak going into this week, and you couldn't, beat a Seahawks team who, the only thing they got going for them really is being coached great, because not that roster is limited, but they're finding ways to win. They're finding ways to win because they're coached well, and they're fighting for their roster spots. They're fighting for everything.
Right.
DK Metcalf is got hurt. We're gonna see how long that injury is, and if it plays any effect on that offense. But the Seahawks look like they have a chance to win this division. The division is open.
Oh, they most definitely do. I mean, because that division hasn't been as dominated on the top end as we thought it would be with San Francisco and LA. And then we know Arizona's as inconsistent as they come in this league. And you look at this game in particular, I mean, the Chargers are 4-3, the Seahawks are 4-3, but it's a lot different. It's a whole different 4-3 vibes in the atmosphere between those two franchises, because expectations and talent. Expectations and talent are gonna welcome more criticism when you don't live up to those things. And I think that's what's happening with the Chargers. And like you nailed it. There's no identity within this football team. And it's a shame, because the talent is unlimited, damn near. Just being real.
One of the best rosters on paper.
Like, Justin Herbert may very well be the best young quarterback in the league. Better than Joe Burrow, better than Pat Mahomes. Like, it's possible for him to reach that level. Will he? I highly doubt it with that franchise, and it's a shame. It's truly a shame. Chiefs and 49ers, 44-23, the Chiefs won this game, but this game was a lot more competitive than that in the one sense. In the other sense, you kind of felt all game long like, man, nobody taking this from Pat today. You just kind of felt all game long Pat was going to put up 40-plus points during this game. And it was just a matter of, can Jimmy score those points?
Yeah.
It was like Pat was just magnificent yesterday. He was on his A game. Go ahead. Yeah.
It just showed the difference between elite and good. You know what I mean? Elite and just middle of the pack.
Doubt. No doubt.
Because Jimmy has reached his ceiling, and we know what that ceiling is now.
Right.
And he's a game manager. He's limited on his throws. He's limited on his playmaking ability. There was a sack there in the end zone that the Chiefs were able to get two off of. That you could blame it on him. Trent Williams was able to get this kid, I forget his name, but he was able to get him around the corner further away by pushing him away. But instead of Jimmy stepping into the pocket, he started running more horizontally into the end zone, and there was a sack. So the differences between, again, elite talent, intelligence, IQ, awareness, where you at on the field, it was all in display there. Between the two quarterbacks, because like you said, it was competitive for a good, I don't know what, 3 quarters maybe?
Three and a half quarters.
Right. So, again, it just showed who is the better quarterback, because if you compare the rosters, they're pretty close. You know what I mean? Running backs are close, receivers are close, tight ends, maybe George Kittle is not the same guy he was because of a lot of injuries. But these rosters are very, very close. You can argue the 49ers have a better defense. You know what I mean? So, but again, that quarterback position, number one position in all of sports, and that was a perfect game to show that yesterday.
Again, for those of y'all who are, maybe relishing in the fact that Tom Brady might get a divorce, don't celebrate too early. Because next year, that's going to be Tom Brady starting for the San Francisco 49ers. And y'all not going to like that. I'll tell you that much. I can tell you that much. Y'all not going to like that. He's going to show up to the Bay Area with a 22-year-old model with George Kittle as his number one target, and Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, who, by the way, shout out to Vic. Ayuk has really developed his game. I mean, he's really developed his game.
And there was a period there where he came in very immature, thought he was owed everything as a first round pick. But lately somebody was able to get to him, and that's key. Listen to criticism and take the criticism. Right. Don't be scared of criticism. If it's a healthy criticism, it's good for you. And that's what it looks like he did. He put in his work, and he's become a weapon. And let's not forget, they just got Christian McCaffrey, who they actually started him. They played him.
Oh yeah, he played
some pretty carry. So that's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun for them. They got a good offense. So hey, you get a Tom Brady in there, that'd be. Oh man, so much emotions that could come out of that, man.
What? But again, the Chiefs. I'm obviously off my Broncos pick. I didn't announce that. I don't think I need to announce that, but let me announce that.
Embarrassing, man. It's embarrassing, man.
But
I had high expectations for Russ and them.
So do I. So did I. Hey,
it was supposed to be 3 teams out of that division, and the Chargers and Broncos look like hot shit. Okay, then we got the Raiders at 2 and 4. These are rosters that have people, man.
They got talent, bro. They got talent. They got quarterbacks, linemen, defense, playmakers. They got all these hotshot coaches. What is happening? What is happening? But again, look. We're gonna talk about the Bill Belichick later. But look at Pete Carroll. Look at this next team: the Steelers versus the Dolphins. I know the Dolphins won that game. 16-10. Here's my 3 biggest takeaways from that game. Number 1, Kenny Pickett is going to be better than I expected in this league. Now, that's not saying much because I didn't expect bleep from him in this league. But he's going to be better than expected. He is at his best when he is getting rid of that ball quick. So when he can start processing the game faster,
excuse me,
he's going to hit another level. And that's going to be interesting to watch. He doesn't necessarily fold under pressure. It's just unfortunate timing with the things that happened. The interception prior to the interception that sealed the game was horrific. It was just horrific quarterback play from all angles, from manipulating the defense with your eyes, from the velocity of the throws, from the trajectory that ball took to the receiver, the whole nine, you name it, was just bad. But you could see when the game speeds up, he can take his mind there. So once he can fully put it all together, it'll be interesting to see where it comes from, what happens moving forward. My second takeaway, the Dolphins coaching staff, I'm not a fan of it. I'm just not a fan of it. I think they got a lot of smart minds in there. I don't know how many leaders of men are on that staff. And again, I have no faith in that head coach. I'm going to just say what it is. There's a lot of talent that has been constructed for this roster. Not a fan of the coaching staff. Just going to put it out there. Number 3, and this is the most important one. Tua, you got to protect yourself, bro. You got to protect yourself, bro. Vic, go ahead.
In terms of the coaching staff, bro, I haven't really dove in deep into that. You know, like, again, coaching to me in the NFL is just, the lack of talent is disturbing. So, you know, but when it comes to the head coach, he just doesn't look the part for me. As a matter of fact, he looks like that nerd to be scared of in the library. Like, you know, like he might plant a bomb or something. I don't know.
Easy.
When I was talking about this with one of my boys, man, the Steelers offense, if you look at it, both sides of the ball, but the offensively, you got George Pickens, Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson at receiver. You got Pat Freiermuth at tight end. You got Najee Harris at running back, and you got Kenny Pickett at quarterback, who hopefully in 5 years we're not using his name as a GIF all over the world. Kenneth Pickett every day or some crazy shit. Kenneth Pickett every 2 days.
Can I pick it?
Like that.
Yes, you can. Can I pick it?
So, you know, this is a good young football team that they have drafted with some names. Mm-hmm. You know, so they need to start investing on that offensive line badly. Like, it's been about 3 or 4 years now that they have neglected the offensive line. So with this young talent, with this quarterback that shows some potential, it's time, you know, Mike Tomlin and those guys, let's start investing some money on that offensive line, because the Steelers can be back right away. The Steelers can be back right away with the names that they have on both sides of the football.
Right. I mean, you get the right offensive line in there, and people are gonna start talking, or where do the Steelers running back duos rank amongst the best running back duos in the league? Like, I'm just being real. They got some talent in that backfield. The receivers are talented. Claypool, Deontay, and then that's that defense. The only thing I'll say about that defense is that defensive line. Well, I mean, Cam Hayward. Let me just focus on Cam Hayward. He is an Iron Man for real, and he is not getting younger. So if I'm Pittsburgh, like, I want to be in a position to see this man play in a championship series, in the championship game, possibly on Super Sunday. That's the only thing I'll say about the Pittsburgh Steelers. They don't need this 3 to 5 year window of rebuilding. They don't. They just need their quarterback to get it right and build a strong offensive line.
Trenches.
And hopefully, yeah. Once they get the trenches, a lot of good things will continue to happen for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And let's be honest.
But yeah,
that division is, it's all right. You know, you got the Bengals, the Ravens, they are, because the Browns ain't no. Now it's a good tough division too. So
it's a good division, but the Steelers historically have ran that division. They've ruled that division. So they can very easily go back to what they need to go back to. Anything you want to touch on, Vic, before we move on to tonight's game?
Did we go over the Bengals? Did I miss that?
We didn't talk much about them. Is there anything you want? I mean, the Bengals obviously they beat the Falcons 35-17.
Yeah. One of those games one of those games where keep getting that momentum back. This is you're a Super Bowl team,
no
and
doubt.
you have the talent. Joe Burrow had 345 passing yards at the half. I thought he was gonna go for 600 the way that things were going. But it was ridiculous. Like Jamar Chase is just that's another tier of receiving right there. So I'm excited for the Bengals to pick up their momentum as the season goes along as well. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I don't know anything else.
Well, we got a trade that just happened about 10 minutes ago. The Jets are acquiring running back James Robinson from the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Wow.
Seems like it's going to be a 6th-round pick, nothing major. So, hey, clearly the Jets are understanding how important their run game is to their success.
And yeah, I mean, I don't know what the Jaguars are planning to do. I don't know who they got backing up, but Travis Etienne so far has been healthy. He was out his whole rookie year. But when he touches the ball, it's electric. Like the dude, is one of those guys that can take it, to the end zone every time he touches it. Now, is that a situation that you want to give that kind of running back 20, 25 touches, rushes a game? We'll see. We don't know if he has the body type for it or if he has the vision for it.
Facts.
Because, we don't want another situation where he's just trying to hit a home run pre-2022 Saquon Barkley, who, shout out to him, has shown a different type of running style this season so far. So, interesting pickup. I think the Jets, like you said, very serious. How are they going to fill in that left guard spot now is going to be interesting to see.
So moving on to tonight's game, not much to talk about, but a few important things that we got to touch on in terms of tonight's game. Patriots, I wasn't sure where to go with that one. Who's the home team? I thought it was the Patriots. Yeah. Bears at Patriots, Monday Night Football. 3-3 are the New England Patriots. 2-4 are the Chicago Bears. Not much I want to talk about in terms of the Bears. I'm going to be honest. I think the Bears have a lot to figure out. And hopefully it can be a competitive football game, and hopefully Justin Fields doesn't hurt himself. As far as the Patriots are concerned, the first thing being first, Mac Jones is back tonight. I don't think anybody in their right mind really felt like Mac Jones wasn't going to get his job back for the New England Patriots. Bailey Zappi performed well, but not that well. And we know Belichick loves Mac Jones. Like, we know that. As much as he likes Bailey, I'm sure he likes Bailey, but he loves Mac Jones. That's his boy. That's Saban's boy. That's like their little adopted nephew in a weird football marriage way. So I get it, okay? And I do think it's the right decision. Bill Belichick tonight has an opportunity to pass George Halas to become the second most winning head coach in NFL history. And it's so fitting that they are playing the Chicago Bears. And it's also nice that it's going to take place on Monday Night Football. So tonight, I'm going to go upstairs after we go off this air. I'm going to grab me my Vince Wilfork shirt, and I'm going to hang it up. And I'm going to take out this red hoodie that I used to have with the arm sleeves cut off. And I'm going to wear it. And I'm going to watch it. And I'm going to root for the greatest coach in our sports history to get that. I don't know if he's going to get to the one that he needs, Shula. I think he's like 20 something away from Shula. So hopefully he'll get there as well, and we can celebrate that as well. But it goes to show, Vic, how much coaching matters. When you see teams the teams of the Mike Tomlins, the John Harbaughs, the Pete Carrolls, the Andy Reids, and obviously the Bill Belichick, they'll lose their championship roster. They'll lose their most valuable player. They'll lose their franchise quarterback. But they don't quite fall off the face of the earth. And usually within a year or two, they are back to being a legitimate contender. That's right. You want to be a contender? They are being legitimate contenders in the NFL. And I think when you look across the landscape of the league, the state of NFL football today, if you have a top 15 to 17 quarterback, you got a legitimate chance if you got certain pieces in play. And I think we're going to see moving forward, the Patriots are going to come back to being a competitive football team year after year. And it's a pleasure to watch. So salute to the greatest coach in football history. Obviously, we know that a lot of those accolades became because of Tom Brady. And obviously, we know a lot of Tom Brady's accolades came because of him. That's not to be argued or debated by anybody. One thing for sure, he is the greatest coach in the NFL history, and I hope he gets it tonight on Monday Night Football. Give me the Patriots in a grinded-out game. I think they're going to play well in all three phases. I think they're going to hit some big plays. I think their run game is going to go off a little bit. So give me the Patriots 27-12.
Yeah, I mean, as much shit as I give him Bill over the years, simply because, there's a lot of fans that still give him most of the credit for their success.
Right.
Just because they just can't find it in themselves to give the quarterback, the credit that it deserves as a position, as a coach on the field as well. It's okay. It's gotten to the point where Tom has proved his story, his legacy in this league already. So, shout out to Bill. I mean, a defensive genius. Some of the schemes that if we watch on film, has been fun to watch. Some of the ways he tricks these quarterbacks, especially young quarterbacks, it's almost bullying. Like you can literally, call the bully association and put his name on the list or something, because it's fantastic. It's fun to watch. Is he an offensive genius? I don't think so. Is he a great GM? Probably mid tier, but I mean, for being a team coach, a guy that you can talk to, a guy that can instill some discipline on a football team, preparation is beyond. It's just perfect. It's perfection all the way across. So he deserves everything that he gets. As far as his game, man, like Mac Jones again returning. Keep running the football like you're doing. They're dominating in the run game. I think they're top 5 if I'm not mistaken. They're averaging 4.4 yards per carry. Looks like 783 rush yards so far, 8 touchdowns in 6 games. So I expect big games out of Stevenson. Run the football, and let Mac Jones, take play action off of that. And again, defensively, I just feel bad for the Bears, man. I wouldn't be shocked they score 0. I wouldn't be shocked they got in this game. So it's in Gillette Stadium as well. So it should be a dominant Patriots win because, hey, as many times as I picked against them this season, they proven to still be a good defensively, whatever you want to call it, coach team. So again, I'm taking the Patriots in this game to win. Like, I don't know. I'm going to give a score. I don't like to give scores, but I'd say 24-0.
Yeah, I like it. I dig it. Shout out to everybody in the comment section. Obviously, we talked to April's in there. Dennis is in there. Storms is in there. Big Shot, Les. A couple comments to get through. Where are we? Where are we? Like Dennis said, 27-7 for Wentz. Absolutely. Big Shot said fraudulent 12. I don't know which one he's talking about, but it's fitting for both. NYC football is back by Big Shot. Yes, indeed. April said she got time to talk about it. Well, all right, April, we're going to give you some time to talk about it at some point. But maybe when they do something impressive. There's no point. Talk about him at the moment. Dennis said Pete is showing why he is the top coach in the league. Absolutely. Big Shot says Slander Bowl 2022 this Thursday night. Absolutely. We got a full show planned Thursday night, so make sure you are there. Big Shot, we're going to coin that term, cannot pick it. And then Les and Storms, I don't appreciate the comments here. Les, first of all, says SMH, or for the kids, as they say, shaking my head, turncoat Mo. Says that Mo is putting in his bid to become a Patriots fan again. I love the setup. And Storm says Mo is filling out his fan free agency form to be submitted at a later date, post-dated and all. I am simply acknowledging the greatness and giving credit where credit is due to Bill Belichick. I can neither confirm nor deny the allegations being descended upon my character. I just enjoy good football. Garrett averages 9 targets, 6 catches, 71 yards with Flacco, and only 4 targets, 2 catches, 25 yards. Should we read anything into that?
I mean, it's a good question. I think that right now it's the difference between a veteran and young quarterback.
Well, right.
It also has a lot to do with what the positioning is. Is Garrett playing the X? Is Corey Davis playing the X? Corey Davis and Zach Wilson had a lot more time together. That's a great question, Josh. I mean, the hope would obviously be that one day they can get it together. And Zach can be the first overall pick that he is, or second overall pick. I think it was.
Well, I think also you got to look at Joe Flacco had the most pass attempts in the league the first couple weeks of the season. So
Brees Hall wasn't exactly doing what he was doing.
Right. Right. So I don't think it's an individual thing. I think it's a team philosophy thing. And I think over time, Zach continues to develop, offensive line continues to develop, Garrett continues to develop, and it's just the Jets are trending up. Like I said, we no longer call them Spirit Airlines for the time being. So, Delta sends one plane to St. Croix once a week on a Saturday. So maybe we could call the Jets like the Delta plane that goes to St. Croix, because it's not like the full size Delta plane, but it's still a Delta plane. So maybe that's what we'll call.
From how many airports?
What do you mean? It's only one plane, and it comes from Atlanta, I think.
So one plane in the whole country is headed to St. Croix a week.
One Delta plane.
Okay.
Like they got American Airlines and whatnot. Yeah, one Delta plane.
Okay.
We're going to wrap it up. Enjoy the game. We will see y'all. We got 94 tomorrow. I don't know when the Dish and Stockbridge Time are going again. I think they might be doing a doubleheader on Wednesday night. And then we're rolling on Thursday for a prime time showdown. So make sure your notifications are turned on. And we will catch y'all when we catch y'all. Take us home, Vic.
I'm not excited, but 22.